Hello viewers at home, I welcome you to the Faith Series. This is yet another episode on the Faith Series, and my name is Oluwale Odewale. Father in heaven, I pray and I ask that even as your word comes forth, let it mix with understanding and faith in the lives of your people. For in Jesus' mighty name I have prayed. Amen. So in this episode of the Faith Series, we'll be discussing faith and fear. I have told you these things so that in me you may have perfect peace and confidence. In the world, you have tribulation and trials and distress and frustration. But be of good cheer. Take courage. Be confident, certain, undaunted. For I have overcome the world. I have deprived it of the power to harm you and have conquered it for you. In reality, we all face fear in our lives. As we move from one level to another, definitely the devil does not want us to advance, even to attain our glorious destiny. And so, the very medium or method that the devil uses even to counter us, preventing us from moving forward, is fear. But what is Jesus Christ telling us? He's saying that we should have peace in our hearts. One of the things that fear will take out from you is your peace. Even though we know that faith is the substance of things hoped for, even the evidence of things that cannot be seen. However, faith also helps us to walk gallantly through life. And there is no man that refuses to walk with faith that can ever please God. And if you can't please God, definitely you won't be able to come up even to the attainment of your destiny. Faith is what makes you move forward. Fear reduces your pace and brings about a kind of limitation and demotion. However, there are two types of fear. Number one, the fear that comes from God. The fear that comes from God gives you an avenue to worship and to reference Him. It brings you to a position whereby you acknowledge the fact that only God is the great God who can actually do so mighty and miraculous things. However, whenever you actually experience the fear of God, it makes you see how wonderful God can always work in the life of His people. The second level of fear or type of fear is the fear that comes from the devil. The devil poses fear to us so that we will be limited, preventing us from advancing in life. The very moment Peter saw the storm coming, he only saw the storm coming, then he lost his faith in Jesus. And at that particular point in time, he shifted his focus away from Jesus and he began to sink. Now, faith is what actually helps us to move forward. The Bible says, for we walk by faith and not by sight, not by what we see, but by what we actually see even in our inner mind, not with our physical eyes. However, I want you to know that the very first place that fear was first mentioned in the Bible was in Genesis chapter 3 verse 10. And why did this happen? It was because of the fact that man had already used his position and place in God. He allowed sin to penetrate into his heart by falling for the temptation of the devil. Now, when God came to man, to visit man as usual, even in the Garden of Eden, man went to hide himself. Why? Because he was naked. The Bible says in Genesis chapter 3 verse 10, it says, and he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid. Why? Because sin was already present in the life of man, and man had already lost the life of God. So if you lose the life of God, definitely fear will permeate into your life. And when fear comes in, there is little or nothing you can do with life. Life will just begin to toss you to and fro without you having a clear view of what you are supposed to do in life. Fear can be a terrible thing. It has brought a lot of people to a place of limitation, whereby making them move just round a simple circle again and again. Fear breaks out trust and dependence on God. It is like a mist that beclouds our vision. Now, fear cripples a man, preventing such a person from exercising his or her faith. In this world, we will face tribulations and so many circumstances of life. But in the midst of this, we should not allow fear to stop us. Whenever we want to move from one level to another, definitely fear will always come. The fear of, how am I going to go about this? What are the necessary steps I'm supposed to go about this? Maybe even one of your family members, they found it so difficult to actually attain even that height. The fear of, nobody in my family has ever done this, can always come to you. But what do you do in the midst of all this? Exercise your faith. Both faith and fear can affect the spiritual and physical life of a man. Your faith in Jesus can bring positivity into your life, while fear will always bring negativity. The faith you put on makes you begin to see possibilities even in things which may look humanly impossible. Fear makes a man look down on himself, and such a person is quick to forget what he is made up of. Without faith, it is impossible for us to please God. And with God, all things are possible. So far you are still with God, so far you are still in the presence of God, faith will always come in. And when faith comes in, fear disappears. One major question you should ask yourself is, who is the giver of faith and who is the giver of fear? Now, the Bible makes us to understand in the book of 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7. It says that, "For the Lord has not given us the spirit of fear, but of love, of power, and of a sound mind." Now, this makes you understand the fact that God is not the one that gives fear. It is the devil that brings in fear. Immediately man fell and sin came in, they were afraid, even though God was coming to bless them as usual. But because of sin, because of the presence of the devil, they allowed fear to creep in. So, we'll talk about the products and consequences of fear. Number one, fear brings dismay. When Peter saw the storm coming and he entertained fear, he was no longer normal. He was just being disturbed from the inside. And when he was being disturbed from the inside, he actually affected his externality. 2, fear brings anxiety. Anxiety of, what am I going to eat? What am I going to drink? What am I going to put on? How am I going to live life? What is the result I'm going to get even from that examination? How am I going to build a house? How am I going to get a car? So many of my friends are actually living life in a very good way. How am I going to come up to their level? All this thing comes as a form of anxiety. And when you entertain anxiety, definitely fear will come in. And instead of you coming to the place of you getting to do what you are supposed to do at the right time, fear will prevent you from doing them. So fear brings anxiety. The Bible says, "I have told you, be careful for nothing's sake, but in everything by prayer and supplication, let your request be made known unto God." In fact, the Bible makes us to understand in Matthew chapter 6, when Jesus Christ was discussing about how can you add up to your years. Why do you worry? So why worry? What makes you worry is because of the fact that you have entertained fear into your heart. Number 3, it brings doubt. It brings doubt of, can God actually do this? Can God actually establish or bring to pass His promises in my life? When are those promises going to come to pass? So it makes you doubt God. And when you doubt God, you displease Him. And when you displease God, definitely you'll be limited to whatever He can do with your life. Number 4, fear brings discouragement. Whenever you entertain fear, it will bring discouragement. And if there is discouragement, there is little or nothing you can do. You won't be able to advance even in that course of action that you want to do. Peter was discouraged because he saw the wind coming and he could no longer move forward. Number 5, it brings limitation and demotion. Numbers chapter 14 makes us to understand the story of the Israelites when God had to punish them by turning their 40 days journey into 40 years when they doubted His ability to bring them into the land flowing with milk and with honey. They already sent spies into the land, and the spies came with the story, the report of what they actually saw in the land. Only 2 of those spies actually came with a positive result. Although they saw that the people that were there, they were bigger than they were. They are people that they are very, very strong, and they would possibly destroy them. But these people Joshua and Caleb came up with a positive result that even though they may be big, even though they may be hefty, even though they may be strong, we will definitely go and we will overcome. Since it is God that is saying this, that we will possess the land, definitely we will surely possess the land. Equally, when the children of Israel were at the battlefield between themselves and the children of Philistines, and Goliath came up, for 40 days they were limited. They could not advance in battle because they allowed the words of Goliath to cripple them, and they could not even fight, they could not even do anything.